Hi friends! I hope you're having a lovely day. Today I'm going to read Priest by Sierra Simone. So in this video, I am a co-host for the Taboo Book Club in June, and we are reading Priest romances this month. So we are going to read Priest by Sierra Simone. I've never read it. All I know is that it's a priest romance and it's taboo and I know nothing else. So I'm going in very, very blind to this. I know we're playing with that trope, but that's it. Religiously, I am Christian, but I am not, like, we don't really have priests as our leaders. So I don't know how I'm going to feel about everything. So I do think this is going to be interesting. I think it will be a fun adventure. I want to thank Tamika for inviting me to be a co-host, and I'm excited to try this out. So I'm going to get started on this. Once I have a better feel of what the book is actually about, I'll come back and let you know. Okay, so now that I've read a couple of chapters, I can tell you a little bit more what is going on. We have this man who's become a priest he's been a priest for 3 years, roughly, I want to say. But he's like 29 years old and he's just doing his thing. It sounds like something happened to his sister, and that's kind of why he kind of felt the call to become a priest. I don't have all the details on that, but I am going to put a trigger warning out there for suicide because it does sound like the sister killed herself with whatever happened. So do know that that's a thing. I don't consider content warnings spoilers. I'm sorry if you do. I mean, this was within the first 2 chapters, so it's not a major spoiler, but it is part of the plot. So there's that. Please tread cautiously if you need to. And then, so basically what happens is he has this woman come in to do confession with him, and he's wanting to like update this particular church so it's more of a modern confessionary booth kind of thing, where it's a little more open, a little more transparent and candid, I guess. But it's currently still the old style with the like graded like window situation. And so this woman comes in and she's new to the area. She's not a regular person at their church. And so she isn't even sure she's religious at all. And her name's Poppy, and she just feels like something's missing in her life. And the problem is the priest totally has a heart-on for Poppy, but Poppy also finds him very attractive and is starting to flirt with him. And because he's a priest in a Catholic church, he's supposed to be celibate. But he was very sexually active before he became a priest. And so that's kind of wherein lies the taboo, because he's trying to rein in his carnal desires while she's just out there flirting with him, like, and all the things. So anyways, I'm liking it so far. I decided to check this out via the audiobook, and I think both narrators are really nice. So do know that going in is that I am doing the audio for it. I do also have the Kindle book, but because it was Prime Day today, the ebook or the audiobook was like $4 or $5. So I'm like, I'm just gonna buy the audiobook. So with that said, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna be getting some stuff done. So you'll see me kind of around my house as I update throughout the day. But yeah, that's kind of my focus. I'm listening to it on 2.25 speed because that feels like a good pace. And so I've got like 3.5 hours. So the audiobook isn't incredibly long if you listen to it sped up. But normally it's like a little over 8, I want to say, if you listen to it on 1 time speed. So again, still not a crazy long one. I mean, some of the audiobooks I've listened to are like 55 hours. So, it's not too long, but I am enjoying the tone of the story so far, and I'm really interested to see where it goes from here. I will update you as I feel I need to, and Of course, after the first time they bang, because it's Sierra Simone. They're gonna bang. Okay, sorry, I'm still in my chair because this audiobook is so compelling. Like, I only am 2 chapters further than my last update, and she was in like doing a confession. She was a stripper and she doesn't feel bad about being a stripper because it gave her a sense of like self-identity outside of like her family's money and outside of like her name and stuff. She was just herself. And so I love that, you know, she doesn't feel shame about it and that she enjoyed herself while she was doing it. And she talked about how she loved that men admired her bodies and that they got hard because of her. And so he, who's very attracted to her, is like all sorts of like trying to not like blow in his pants while she's there. And like as soon as she gets up and leaves, he hurries and gets up and closes the door and immediately starts jacking himself off. And I'm like, oh, Mr. I'm not supposed to be sexual at all, just jacked himself off in his office. So I'm just, oh, this is going to be steamy. I've heard Sinner, the sequel, is better even than this one. So I may continue on. Right now I'm really enjoying Priest. So there's a good chance I'll go on to Sinner, but we'll see. We did find out what happened to his sister. She was being raped by the priest at that parish and was doing this to multiple people. And she had been raped for a while and she couldn't take it anymore. And she ended up committing suicide. So do know that that is a thing in this book. And from here on, I'm going to call it spoilers. I mean, it's a romance. You kind of know how it's going to go. But if you want to read this and you want to avoid spoilers, it's time to click off this video. But yeah, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to tell you guys all the things as I go. Here we go. Okay, so I just finished chapter 6. Apparently, I'm just checking in every 2 chapters at this point. This is the first time they really confess that they're sexually attracted to one another while also stripping and touching each other in the church. And I can't lie, the way that it's written is really, really hot. Not like temperature-wise, but like hot. And so I guess I should explain something. Religiously, as a Christian, we believe that men and women should be married and, you know, all those kinds of things before sexual encounters. But the whole idea of choosing to be celibate and devoted to God has always been kind of a weird one to me because it says right in the text of this book, God made us sexual creatures because he did. We were meant to procreate and multiply and, you know, keep the world going, essentially. And so the whole concept of choosing to be celibate is not one that I've ever really understood. So the only thing that made me a little bit hesitant was that it was happening right in the church, like in the chapel of the church. I believe the chapel of a church is a very sacred place. So that's like my only beef with it right now, because they were in his office. They easily could have done those things in his office. And so there's that. Like that's been my only like weird thing about it so far. Is that you had the option to do it in the office and you didn't. And that makes me a little... Anyway. So with that said, I'm going to keep going. And I was out organizing my loft while I was listening. And then I came in here for the last little bit of that chapter. So yes, I now have some errands to run. So I don't know when I'll check in next, but it's written really hot and steamy, so I am intrigued and will check in again. I don't know if it'll be that soon, but I will check in again, and yes. Anyways, I'm rambling now. Okay, so A lot has happened. I'm on like chapter 12 right now, and they continue to get busy. And he's secretly a daddy dom. Like he loves to talk dirty. He's aggressive in bed. Like so he's clearly somebody who should not be a priest. And his reasons for becoming a priest were very like noble. And I get why he became a priest, but clearly he should not still be a priest. And I do love the way that Sierra Simone has woven their connection into just being one and being whole. Because religiously speaking, I believe I am with the partner I will be with for the rest of eternity at this point. You know, in my first marriage, it never felt that deep, and I never made the same commitments and covenants to my first husband as I did my now husband. So, like, I see a palpable difference, but at the same time, like, clearly the way this is written, Sierra Simone has written it that God will definitely forgive them for what they're doing because they were always meant to be together. And he had to kind of like clear up his act and figure some things out about himself and his relationship with God to help them even be a thing and to help her even come into any sort of religion. So it's good. I'm really liking it. I don't think this is going to be a 5-star book for me, but it's going to be one that I think about a lot. At this point, I am going to continue on and listen to Sinner as well. So, yes, if you want to see a vlog for that, let me know down below. But it's not often I do dedicated reading vlogs for one book. But I felt like since this one is outside of like my normal comfort zone, that you guys would appreciate a dedicated vlog to it. So, I'm going to keep going. I'm like 12 chapters in now. So, it continues to be good. I continue to really like both Tyler and Poppy. I think they're great characters, and I'm really interested to see how Sierra Simone wraps up this book, especially considering there's a sequel. So I am intrigued. We shall see. Okay, so it's time for another update. I've been doing lots of errands. I'm all sweaty. I'm going to go take a shower here in a few minutes. But we just finished chapter 19. Things between Poppy and Tyler are obviously progressing. There's this extra dude from her past who just wants her as a mistress. He doesn't want her as a wife. He's married to, like, their childhood friend. Neither of them care for each other, so he wants Poppy as his mistress. But Poppy's not down for that. She feels she deserves more than that, and she does. She's a smart woman. She's beautiful. She can have whatever she wants. And you're seeing a light song tail. He's decided it's time to snuggle before I go take a shower. But anyhow, the jealousy that Tyler feels once Sterling is actually there and physically present is really, you know, pretty standard for this kind of a trope. So that didn't bother me at all. It might bother some. But, like, he doesn't go chasing after her when Sterling sends all these pictures. He just sits and he broods. And then when she comes back, he basically gets off on her and doesn't let her experience anything. And she realizes how drunk he is. She didn't realize the state that he was in when he was doing all of this. And so she goes, and it's actually really sweet. She helps him, like, shower and clean up. And, you know, then she's like, you know, he's like, oh my gosh, she's right in front of me. I need to, like, lick her. And he goes to start, and she's like, no, not till we're finished here. You know, and she takes a shower, and he takes a shower, and then she tucks him into bed and tells him nothing happened with Sterling, and blah, blah, blah. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. But leading up to this, he went to go confess to his best friend, like another priest in another parish. And he's like, God told me you're not ready yet. Like, you're not ready to give her up, so it's not time to confess and repent. Which is true. Like, you shouldn't go to your local leader to confess if you're really not ready to give it up. And then this Sterling guy, of course, finds out. And then the local like nosy neighbor. She tends to go to for walks early in the morning, and she's seen them going back and forth between our houses, so she knows what's up too. So a total of 3 people know what's up outside of them as a couple. So decisions are going to have to be made. I've got less than an hour in the audiobook, so I won't come back till the end. But I'm honestly, this is like a solid 4-star right now. My final rating will depend on how the rest of this wraps up, but I will have thoughts for you soon. All right, friends, so I just finished Priest by Sierra Simone, and I'm giving it 4 stars. The way that the end of this book happened made me really happy for a myriad of reasons, because it didn't absolve either of the sins that they committed while they were in their initial relationship. So they both were able to take time apart and decide what they want for their lives outside of what they had before coming back together and realizing that they did truly make those decisions because they were in love with the other person, not because they were caught up in lust, in friendship, in companionship, in all sorts of other things that could have been part of this equation. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. If there are other books like this that you want me to do these kinds of vlogs with, let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.